We started in New York. We went to New York. Let's go back to New York, and specifically the Jets, because it's pretty easy to see why they're going to be the Hard Knocks team this season. Obviously, the Aaron Rodgers trade, but Allen Lazard also signed from Green Bay. He will join young playmakers like Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson, who was the Offensive Rookie of the Year this past season. But every time you have a four-time MVP on your roster, it brings instant expectations for this very proud franchise. Lewis, as we know, Hard Knocks is the place where you get to see things that you wouldn't otherwise see inside an NFL organization. What's one connection that you're interested in seeing develop through this series?
Yeah, it has nothing to do with the wide receiver core or really the skill position group as a whole field. This is about the connection between Aaron Rodgers and his offensive line and the level of comfort that he feels in the pocket on third down, which, make no mistake about it, that's why Aaron Rodgers is in New York. For those third down crucial situations, for him to be able to keep moving the football, drive the team down the field, produce explosive plays, be effective in the red area. And in order for him to do all that, he has to have protection, in particular on the edges here. What's Dwayne Brown going to look like this year? What's Mekhi Becton going to look like this year? Is it going to be one of these situations where Aaron feels comfortable stepping up in the pocket and doesn't have to always be a magician because he has always got pressure in his face in under 2.5 seconds? That's the critical situation that needs to be monitored this year. Because if that goes, if all those things will play out, then New York will be right in the mix in terms of challenging for the AFC East. If it doesn't, I don't care what you got on the perimeter. I don't care what you got on defense. We saw it play out last year in the playoffs. Offensive line being strong front to back, inside out, has to be taken care of in the NFL in order for you to succeed at the highest level.
Yeah, Lewis, you're talking my language right now, talking about the Jets offensive line. And really what it comes down to health. You know, that's really been the conundrum with Joe Douglas, you know, since he's been there, is the lack of health as it relates to the offensive line and having that continuity with those guys up front. You talked about Dwayne Brown. Last year he played with a torn rotator cuff throughout the whole season. He's 38 years old. Mekhi Becton, who's slated to probably be the starting right tackle. This is a guy that hasn't even played in 2 years. And the Jets are hoping that, you know, he can, you know, be a guy that can play a full slate of games. So there's just a lot of unknown variables with the Jets offensive line, particularly on the edges. And so for me, like this whole Jets experiment with Aaron Rodgers, it all comes back to the big guys up front. If those guys can stay healthy and play together, the Jets have a real chance, because I love everything else around this team.
You can always see the joy when Damien gets to discuss offensive line play here on NFL Live. And obviously, it's going to be a big part of their success this year. But Dianna, let's talk more about what do the Jets want this offense to look like with Aaron Rodgers under center?
Yeah, this is going to be the Aaron Rodgers greatest hits tour, right? We just saw Taylor Swift go through her tour with her greatest hits. It's going to be the same thing. It's going to be everything he wants to do, what he's most comfortable with. And that's really been the theme at Florham Park, is let's make sure Aaron is as comfortable as he possibly is. Everything has been tailored so he fits that. And that's really been the identity of this team now on offense. And look, it is really interesting because we're going to see a lot of the things that he did in Green Bay. But going back to what Lewis brought up earlier, I know the concerns in Florham Park are that of what Lewis just brought up. Protection, especially at the age of Aaron Rodgers right now, going to be 38 years old in December. This is going to be a problem that they're going to have to solve, and they're going to try to figure this out during training camp.
Well, for Jets fans out there, I hope it's easier to get tickets for Jets games than it was the Taylor Swift concert, because I struck out. Still looking for Jets tickets, though, this upcoming season, if anybody knows somebody who can help out on that front.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.